Howdy YouTube, welcome to another episode of the Chog Blog. Today we're going to show you another little collection that we've started. This is, other than action figures, another thing that was a big part of our childhood. It was like the activity books, coloring books, pop-up books, things like that. We've started finding a lot of these stuffs on eBay and at the Goodwill. But we got a small collection we're going to go show you and see what we've got so far.
All right, well first up, this is one of the Star Trek ones. This came out at the time of the motion picture, because they were unprepared for the success of Star Wars, and so Paramount was rushing to get a bunch of Star Trek merchandise to the shelves. And what they did is this is an old story from the old school Star Trek, but they have like the motion picture stuff on the cover. So they released this to fool kids and thinking this is motion picture stuff. But when you look inside of it, it's just all old school stuff. It's just like some comic book story they had sitting around. They just reprinted it. But the thing is, this came with like a record, so you could play the record and read along with the comic. These are pretty easy to find. We found this at Goodwill.
No, it was at the thrift store.
Yeah, the thrift store.
Every time we go to the thrift store, they have one of those.
Yeah, and this one's pretty fun. This is like the Star Wars Punch Out book, where you would have several different ships that you could punch out and make. Like there's the Sandcrawler.
I'm kind of tempted to punch them out and make them, though, but we gotta respect the mintness. You must respect the mintness.
And then there's an R2-D2. There's parts of his R2-D. There's his body and his legs. And then there's Luke's X-wing. It's pretty cool. They're pretty detailed. Got a lot of detail in there. A little stubby though, but still pretty accurate. And then of course there's the land speeder. And I remember too there was a bunch of these. There was something similar like these that came in like the cornflakes.
No, it was Lucky Charms.
Lucky Charms, yeah, they were little punch out stuff. I know there was a land speeder.
There's land speeder, X-wing, TIE fighter.
Yeah, and
we had them all.
There's also a blaster. They call it an energy pistol. That's looks like an Imperial blaster, kind of. Yeah, it's actually kind of squarish when you get it completed. And then the next page we have, what's the next one? We have a TIE fighter. That's pretty cool because you can actually have the panels have the printing on both sides. And there's the cockpit. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I am really tempted to put these together and see what they look like.
We could always photocopy it, I guess.
Yeah, you could.
Put on cardstock.
And then there's a C-3PO. It's pretty cool. And down here there's a little lightsaber, which is just one piece, which is I guess pretty easy. It's just you just roll it up and
like a blunt.
Like a blunt. And that's C-3PO, and I think that is. And then here's the other part of the lightsaber. And that was the Punch Out and Make It book. And we also have an activity book for the Black Hole. This is in the front. It's got like a bunch of stickers, scenes from the movie. You put them throughout the thing. But then there's also like like puzzles. You can like mazes and stuff. There's like connect the dots, and then there's a Vincent here. And then here you're supposed to find the differences. There's a thing you got to color in to find.
I wonder what that is. What is the image supposed to make? Who could tell?
Yeah.
Doesn't look anything like Maximilian.
No. Yeah. There's like a bunch of other stuff. There's the androids.
Humanoids.
Humanoids, yeah. And there's a maze, and then you're supposed to draw something in here. Use your own imagination. I don't know what this is. There's a shopping list made of a rocket. Another connected dots. I could already tell it's the Palomino.
You spoiled it, Vago. You spoiled
it. There's
it.
a page with a bunch of different robots. I don't even know what you're supposed to do with that, but there they are. They got all the bots. Maximilian, Vincent, and old Bob. And then these are just coloring pages here, depicting some of the scenes from the movie. And then here's they just have a lot of these generic robots in this book.
Yeah, they weren't in the movie.
No. And another connected dot, and that's again the Palomino. Oh, actually it's the module from the Cygnus.
It's a probe.
Yeah, the probe. And there's some puzzles and grid puzzles. Yeah, there's Vincent in the cockpit. Another connect the dots. More games and puzzles. And then there's just last page is just a picture depicting the scene. And then again, there's a big old sticker. Pretty cool sticker. And we also have we have just a coloring book. I'm just gonna flip through it real quick. Black hole. Let's see. Pages are kind of yellow. It just goes through the story of the movie. It's a coloring book. Not very detailed, but you get the idea. There's Vincent.
Maybe they'll explain the ending of the movie in the coloring book.
Yeah.
Make it make sense to everyone.
There's close-ups of Reinhardt.
And the humanoids.
Yeah. I mean, we loved this movie as a kid, but I don't think most kids got this movie. There's old Bob and Vincent. Always wanted an old Bob figure, never got one. Still don't have one.
He's expensive.
Yeah. There's old Bob and Vincent hanging out. Yeah. He said it just goes through the story. Just goes through the.
Too bad they don't have a coloring page for
and then the black hole.
What's his name's death?
You mean Anthony Perkins?
Yeah, who did he play? What was this guy?
I don't remember his name. Pizer?
No, Pizer was the
guy. And then we also got some pop-up books. This is pretty cool. This one's The Empire Strikes Back. Starts off with Luke on the Tauntaun. And then there's this here. You can make the Probot move. It's kind of hard to get back in once you do it. And then Luke is supposed to. I think Luke's missing something.
No, there's a tab up top.
That's for the page for the next. Yeah, so something's ripped on Luke. I suppose he's supposed to grab the lightsaber, but then there's this little.
Hold it up so I can see it.
I'm not sure. Oh yeah, you just kind of like that. The snow speeder flies over. You pull this and you can make Darth walk, and the snow falls down. Oh, and there's Chewbacca. Chewbacca hiding behind Darth. You pull that and pull it down and R2's there. You turn this. It's Yoda. And then Yoda disappears. I don't remember him doing that in the movie. And then you can pull this and Yoda just walks away.
Can't hold it up, you're holding it too flat.
And then this, you push. You see the falcon, fly out of the mouth. This ain't no cave, sweetheart. And then Chumana, Cloud City. You pull that little. And you notice that the cloud cars are blue. Because originally they had painted them blue. But then when they did the blue screen, you couldn't see them. So they had to repaint the cloud cars to orange. But this is obviously before they repainted them into orange. Because they are blue. And then there's this. Yeah, this one's ripped, so I can't really use it. I don't know what it does, but it did something. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but like I said, it's ripped. And this one, you just kind of supposed to flip up, and he falls down after he gets it. And you notice his hand is still attached. You can't be cutting off hands in children's pop-up books. And then there's this where Luke just hangs on there and Falcon comes to get him. Nifty. And that last page doesn't do anything, it's just them staring out the window. Then we also got this one, which is the Buck Rogers pop-up book. It pops up, and then of course there's him blasting off. And then you lift.
You gotta angle it, man. I can't see it.
I think the tab's missing because I can't lift anything. Anyway, something's supposed to happen there, but I think I'm missing a tab. And then that one just door opens and he captures his boat. But he didn't have a space capsule, he had a space shuttle. That's inaccurate. And then there's this. Little up. And there's the next page where you pull that and Twiggy pops out. Bitty, 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 bitty. Put it back he goes. And then you have some dude, a butt climbing a staircase and ladders to avoid the mutants. And then there's a space battle. Must have been a brilliant battle. And you flip it over and you turn that and the Emperor appears. And then he's gone again. And you pull this and Buck kills Tiger Man. But he didn't shoot him. He put a bomb up down his pants, blew his ass off.
But he came back for the series, so he was all right.
And you pull this and he's putting bombs in the jets. You turn this and like, boom. Too bad, it says.
I remember Wilma being blonde.
No, she was not blonde. If I can get this page to move. And then there's the end. There's just, you pull that and the thing blows and you see the ship blowed up. It's blowed up. Okay. And that's the Buck Rogers pop-up book. Now, the next one here is this. This was actually something our sister had when we were kids, and we thought it was cool as heck because it's a Star Wars rip-off, and, to us it was Star Wars. This is a paper doll called Star Princess. And then you can tell it's a Leia Star Wars rip-off because, of course, the robot's the one that has the Leia hair.
I'm not getting nothing but glare.
Getting a glare? How's about that?
Okay, there's good, yeah.
Yeah, so there's Star Princess, and I'll just open that. That's, of course, there's the Star Princess. Looks a lot like, looks kind of like Tila.
Looks like Tila.
But this is way before Tila came out. And it goes Pluto, which is her robot companion, which looks like a robot version of New Hope Leia. And, of course, you got her space outfits. A bunch of space outfits. She has more outfits than Amidala did in episode 1.
Does the robot have any outfits?
She does not, I don't think. I think they're all for the Space Princess. I think she might have some accessories or something, but yeah, they're all Space Princesses. I think this might be for the robot. A little scanner or something hanging around her neck. That's the first one with just the paper dolls. And then there's this one here, which was it was like a play set. There's kind of a picture of what it looks like fully completed. It's still in mint, so we kept it in the box. We're gonna keep it mint, so we won't be able to show you. But here's kind of a overview. You can see the background. Of course, it comes with the same paper dolls that the other one did, but this has you have things out, and there's like computers and stuff to put into the background to give it a 3D feel. Of course, she still comes with a couple of outfits. She's got to have those outfits.
Does she have a slave girl outfit?
Well, she kind of does.
Well, no, this is before Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. Well, she got this here. Looks like Princess Ardala from Buck Rogers. And those are her outfits, and then of course there's more here. Oh, more outfits. Yeah, it looks like the robot has a cape. So, and this is just more of the more components of the thing. There's like fire bolts. And this is the computer console. And this thing comes when you undo it. It's like a big old spring. But there's part of so you take this thing off, and this becomes the background, and you have all these pieces on there. And it also has like art on the back too. So, all right, yeah, and that's so far. Those are just a few of the activity books we have. We just want to show you like a lot. I know these are pretty hard to find. They're pretty rare, but let us know if you had any of these things, because like I said, a lot of these things are pretty rare. But again, just have any questions, put in a comment, and as always, keep on chogging.